We are excited to be back and more royal than ever on the Royal Round. And this just happens to be a little Royal Round happy hour with a splash of pink presented by New Amsterdam Vodka and Pink Whitney. And it's all part of our Royal Reveal, our return to Royal, our Jersey Reveal Week in partnership with our friends at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Alongside Rayzor and Marty and Dan, I'm Brian. And what a week it has been, with the city embracing the royal blue, fans from so many decades doing likewise. Guys, what was your first reaction upon the reveal?
I'll go first because I'm usually sitting next to you, Duffer, and I'm going to say I absolutely love it. And the jersey looks great. The yellow stripe on the pants is amazing. The color's perfect. I'm absolutely in love. I want to go down to the store and get some swag because I want to be wearing it around town. So that I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I loved how it just popped, Duffer. You know, the colors are bright. They're jump out at you. And then, you know, it gets your attention quick. But what I really liked is the detail, especially the detail in the buffalo. You know how it's got the long hair and everything, and it's got the detail in there now? I love that part of it. It was on the 50th jerseys. I love it the way they got it, you know, into the new jersey as well. And I know it may be hard to see from a distance sometimes, but you really take a good look at that jersey, man. It's done really classy, and it pops.
Yeah, guys, I agree 100% the same thing. I think it pops. And, you know, I can't help but think back to how the players felt wearing the 50th anniversary jersey when they did, and really how the team played when they put that jersey on in that particular version of the logo. And I really do hope that, listen, the players make the difference, coaching makes a difference, but if there's anything to be said for how proud those guys are going to be to put that version of the Buffalo Sabres history back on and just have the fans go crazy for it, if it's the same kind of reaction we got when they wore the 50th, I think we'll all be very happy.
Okay, yeah, and I'll tell you, too, team, when you're talking alumni, even in the past, guys, this morning, at our meeting, that's all the guys wanted to talk about is how the new jersey and how much they love it. So I think it's important, too, because those guys, you know, they were original guys that wore the original jerseys, and they're just like, wow, this is cool. This is nice. They did it right, and it's right on mark.
But it's not just one jersey. As always, there's two sets. So if you can only pick one, are you picking royal or white? Marty?
I'm picking white. I'm a traditionalist. I like white at homes. I like the clean look of the white jersey. I know it's tough to wash if you got a little blood on it or something, but I love the white look. So I am absolutely in love with the white.
I like the Holmes jersey too, because of the white and everything like that. Just like Marty there, that Holmes is a nice one. It's a nice jersey. I like as Marty as well. I'm a traditionalist, and I like the home being white, and I think that's just something that everybody has always related to growing up. Home teams wearing white, it's all part of it. And yeah, the blue is excellent. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that the white it's special.
Dan?
Well, I was going to say white for this. I mean, we're all from the same era growing up watching hockey, and white was for the home team. And the white does lend to me for the gold and the blue really to pop and stand out. But as Rayzor said, you know, that the royal blue jersey period, I mean, it does have a certain pop to it. So
yeah, it does.
Listen, you go out and get 100 points in a season, you can wear any jersey. So let's, I'll take them both.
And all right, well, this is what's great with Duffer. You know what's great with the royal jersey, the dark jersey, is that little white lining underneath the yellow stripes on the jersey, in the arm, and at the bottom of the jersey. That's a little details that was never in the royal jersey of any Sabres in the past, and they've added that little white line. And that alone is the attention to details to the jerseys that makes it, you know, different and makes the color really stand out. And I thought that was great.
All right, this is a happy hour, of course. We're going to be joined by Sabres alumni, not to mention an outstanding NHL character in Paul Bissonnette. Who's your ideal happy hour partner? Dan?
Well, he's going to be on the show, so I'll say Mayday because you never know what you're going to get, but you know it's not going to be anything that you should expect.
And I'm going to back Dan up with that because I had plenty of happy hours with Mr. Brad May, and I'll tell you what, those stories never get old, and they change every time. And the longer the happy hour is, the better the stories get.
Duffer, I'm going to say you. And the only reason I'm saying is because I miss our time after the games are over, and especially the home games, where we walk into an establishment sometimes near the arena district there, and we have a drink and discuss the games and what else is going on. So I'm going to say you're probably my perfect happy hour guy, and I miss being able to get a drink with you.
Cheers, Marty. Hey, make sure you go Royal.
That's why we have them. There you go.
Cheers, Marty Dupper. Why not hold yours up, Dan?
Yeah, I got it right here.
See who ranks on this show.
Go Royal with us. Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center and the Buffalo Sabres have teamed up and created an exclusive Royal Blue hoodie. $10 from every purchase benefits patient care programs and cancer research at Roswell Park. Visit shop1buffalo/collection/return to Royal to get yours now. The Royal Round Happy Hour with a splash of pink is presented by New Amsterdam and Pink Whitney. And of course, one of the men behind that is Paul Bissonnette, who's with us here now. Biz, how are you?
I'm great. They wouldn't name the drink after me because it wouldn't have sold. So we put Ryan's name on it, and it's been flying off the shelf. So we're very grateful for the Pink Whitney, that's for sure.
Did you lobby hard for it to be in your name?
I thought we were going to go with the Blue Bissonnette, but they said, nah, you didn't snap it around well enough in the NHL to get a drink name after you. So I just stuck with being the sidekick.
Whit thinks he scored a lot of goals in the National Hockey League, but how many more does he have on you? It can't be that many.
I would say at least 50 or 60, but for 1 or 2 seasons there, he was at the top of the point getters for defensemen. I mean, I think myself and Rob probably could have been there if we were snapping it over to Sid and Gino, but I mean,
it's the opportunity you get.
That's what I'm saying.
The opportunity that's presented to you, and some coaches make so many mistakes by not giving everybody that chance.
We were held back, Rob, and that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Absolutely.
Biz, what would you tell people about your journey to where you're at right now?
It's been weird. I mean, thankfully I started Twitter when I was playing, and it kind of just really directed me in towards the media world. Whereas, nowadays a lot of everything is digital. So I was fortunate enough to land a job with the team who'd given me my start in the NHL, which was the Coyotes. Well, like my permanent home in the NHL at least. And it just kind of took on a mind of its own. And I think you guys can all attest to this. At this point, when you're done playing hockey, it's just about staying busy. That's like the biggest battle, keeping your mind occupied, because you go from living this incredible life where you're flying around on these private jets and they're dropping off filet mignons in front of you and you're getting paid 6 figures, and it's like you're living in a movie. And then afterward, when that's taken from you, you got to find something to feel that you got to get up in the morning, be excited about. And that's what this has created for me. And I'm forever grateful for it.
So with the opportunity to play and making some contact, now I'm going to show off the bottle over here, and I'm going to have a sip of it soon. But how often did you have to taste it, and what did you guys go through the whole process to come up with this fabulous drink?
Well, we originally thought it was going to be like a seltzer, but then the way they presented it to us was, no, this is going to be like a shot brand / if you want to have a stiff drink. I can't drink it straight. I drink it with a little bit of soda. But these kids, man, they like the shots. They want to get right to the point, these younger people. And the color has just kind of escalated it and brought it into a lot of different areas that we didn't expect it to grow. And now they do these little bottles that you could bring on the golf course. These, what do you call them? The nips?
Nips, yep.
Yeah. So it's just been a wild ride, and something that has kind of spawned off from the podcast itself. And as I said earlier, it's just silly, masculine men drinking pink drinks on the golf course or at the hockey rink. It's been fun because I think we've created like a hockey's version of the John Daly. And it's just really something like our podcast is about, is just bonding over a game that's really brought us a lot, and trying to, I mean, Rob, like you're a guy we like Martin, you as well. I don't know if you were on before I joined full time, but just like getting your guys' journey, your stories behind the scenes, some of the greats you may have played with. And I feel that it's these fans, considering what salaries are now and what they have to pay for tickets, I feel like giving them the behind the scenes stuff just gives them that much added joy. And I think it helps grow it overall, because they hear about all these guys' amazing personalities behind the scenes.
Well, you guys did that commercial, right? And it runs all the time. And you made a comment on social media the other day, but I want to know, did you really shoot, what was it, 92, 93 miles an hour? Was it really your top hardest shot in that moment?
No, I have a muffin, and those scores were done in post. No, I can't shoot the puck very hard. And Witt could barely stand up out there because he's got such bad feet and ankles. So if we would have done some skating agility drill, I think I would have had him. Like maybe one-on-ones out of the corner, because we all know he'd always get put on rollerblades for that.
When he gave you the old Paul missed the net thing, you should have just suckered him right there. That would have been the most unbelievable commercial.
He was being a big enough diva that day, so I let him have his cake and eat it too with the chirp, and he got to be the star of the show, and his name's on the drink. As long as I keep Witt happy, I think everything runs smoothly because he's such a great storyteller, and to me, he's the star of the show. He makes me laugh.
Biz, you grew up in Welland. What was your connection as a kid to the Sabres, and what do you think of the return to Royal Blue?
I love your guys' jerseys. They look awesome. As far as, I mean, Leafs games were too expensive, and at the time, I think the dollar was on par. So I used to go to the odd. I've probably seen Rob play a bunch of times, and I wouldn't say I was necessarily a fan of an NHL team, but like I said, I followed the Sabres probably more close than anyone. Like the Dominic Hasek years, of course, when they were snubbed out of winning a Stanley Cup when Brett Hull's foot was in the crease. So I followed it through that entire journey, and I was pretty tied in. So it was great to see a hometown guy from Welland, Matt Ellis, end up cracking that lineup. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with him. And I think that really embodies where we're from. Just really players that are willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win, whether it's fill up water bottles or chip on the fourth line. And I believe Matt's involved in player development there because he's such a great example for the younger guys in order to, maybe you were the skilled guy from junior that can't do that at the National Hockey League level. What could you do for me, and what ways can you find to stick around, and how much work are you willing to put in to do so? So shout out to Matty Ellis.
Biz, you got to score in Buffalo, though. One of the games that you played here. Do you remember the goal? Do you remember how it happened?
Yeah, I think who was the little guy in net?
Jonas Enroth.
I believe he was in net.
Yep.
That was a cool game because that was the first time my grandparents had ever seen me play live in the NHL. And my mother had been sick for a few years, but so she hadn't seen me play either. Only my father had, and it was in Toronto, and I was fortunate enough to score the game winner there. And guys, I scored 7 goals in my NHL career. I could remember every one, right? That's the beauty of only scoring 7. And lucky enough, in my mom and grandparents' first game ever watched me live, I got a lucky rebound. I don't know how it squeaked through Enroth's pads. I believe we went up 2-0 at the time, and it was eventually the game winner.
So Rayzor actually was the color guy in that game, and he says, and I watched it earlier, he says, see, Taylor Myers can't go around the net here. He's got to put Bissonnette on his rear end next to the net. So that Rayzor knew how to defend you, but you found a way to score in that one.
And he was right. I think Myers was on the other side of the net when I put the puck in, and he definitely lost his check. So good analysis. But I believe he's got like 50 sheets in the bank. So I think Myers is doing a little bit better than I am right now. I might have to sell a few more Pink Whitneys.
The best way to defend guys like you and I is just let us take the puck. And that's the best way to keep the team from scoring.
Yeah, we'll find our own problems.
Yeah, we will.
Biz, what other kind of connection to Buffalo, if any, did you have growing up not too far away?
I'm a big time supporter of just the sports town of Buffalo in general, and how much the community backs it. That's what's really been hard to watch. I mean, the Bills have been playing a little bit better, but as far as the Sabres are concerned, just given with some of the talent they have there and some of the length of time they've been waiting to get surrounded by other talent, I'm hoping that they're able to turn things around and get things going in a positive direction. And I think that they will. I think Jack can lead them there, and I think they have a lot of good other pieces.
Well, you've talked to Jack a number of times. What stands out about him for you?
I mean, off the ice, his taste in music is pretty good compared to the rest of these kids. I don't know. Do you guys follow him on social media? He's always posting with the old school bands. So it's nice to know he's pumping good tunes in the locker room, not this little pump stuff and all this other junk these kids are listening to. Do I sound like an old grumpy guy right now, guys?
Yeah, you fit right in.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. You and I'd be best friends.
That was the goal. But I just feel like on the ice, he's such a dynamic player. And, it's unfortunate the last couple of years, you could tell by the end of the year, he's so burnt out by trying to carry a lot of the load where, I think that he deserves to be in playoffs and get to play in some important games.
If you had to take one skill out of Jack Eichel's game and put it into your game when you played, what would it be?
Well, okay, I'll answer. I'll have two answers for you. His speed is underrated. Yeah. He doesn't necessarily move fast, but just what he gets done with his strides, it seems like he covers so much ice. So his skating stride is unique, and I think he's faster than what most people think. So I think I would have lasted longer if I could have skated better. But these guys, the way they shoot the puck now, and as a goaltender, it's like they just pull it in and change the angle, and next thing you know, they flick their wrist and it's like bar down, and you're like, whoa, what just happened? So it's with little effort. I don't know if it's the flex in the stick or the blades they use now, but just their ability to shoot the puck. And I would that would be my second answer. I would say similarly, he shoots the puck like Austin Matthews.
Marty had an awful lot of trouble too when guys shot the puck at him.
I just let the D's block him.
He had
the
a
defense block him, and it's good.
Where it was going.
Jay McKee.
I played with Dan Girardi, Biz, and another Welland product, and the guy would block so many shots for me. Loved it every minute.
That's what I'm saying. You need a Jay McKee and a Girardi as a goaltender on every team, and I think you're okay. You'll probably put up at least a 900 save percentage.
At least. Maybe a 901. Maybe a 901.
As the commercial says, Marty, raise your glass. Cheers, Biz.
Cheers, boys. I don't drink during the afternoons. I usually like to wait, and we're on a 3-hour time change, so I'd feel like a bit of a degenerate before cracking a drink before 3 p.m.
Well, let me ask you, which one should I go with? The Pink Whitney or just the straight up New Amsterdam vodka? What's the choice?
Well, that one's the special edition Sabres bottle, so I think your Sabres fans would appreciate that, unless it doesn't have the new colors.
Well, they still would appreciate it because a few of those, the colors all blend.
Hey, Biz, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, this has been awesome. You guys do this once a week?
Only if you join us.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Once in a while, let's pop by. Let's do a little round table.
We can definitely drink to that. The Royal Round Happy Hour with a splash of pink, presented by New Amsterdam Vodka and Pink Whitney. It is great to catch up with alumni Jay McKee, JP Dumont, Daren Puppa, and Brad May. Gentlemen, what have you been up to? Jay?
Laying low, spending time with family. Obviously, this is it's a different world we're living in right now with COVID. Watching hockey, it's actually been a pleasure with how the schedule's been and getting a lot of viewing in on the hockey, but time with family and watching hockey is about it right now.
AP?
Obviously here in Nashville, like in the state of Tennessee, we are allowed to be back on the ice and do social distance practicing. But so I'm on the ice a lot with the youth hockey here. I've just been named the new hockey director for the junior press program here in Nashville. So pretty busy on that side. And, like Jay mentioned as well, spend a lot of times with my kids. They try to enjoy those moments because school just started here as well. So the kids are back at school, so I got a lot of free time during the day, but back on the ice at night now.
Hey, congrats on the new gig. Daren, what's going on with you?
I'm down in Tampa Bay, Florida, fighting, hard to stay safe and stay away from COVID, selling real estate, doing our thing, trying to keep distancing and wearing masks everywhere and staying out of trouble that way. And my son is starting back as a school teacher, so we're a little trying to figure all that out, and they're trying to figure out if they're going to start with kids in school or not. We're going through that right now, but just selling real estate, spending a lot of time at home because we really can't go anywhere. So we're out a little bit in the community, but not too much right now.
You're all happy to hear you're healthy and staying so. Mayday, what are you up to?
You know what? I'm about 2 or 3 hours north of where you guys are in Buffalo. Clearly locked down for the last few months at the cottage, and summer's been great. It's been a time to have a ton of fun and have the kids back in the house. My kids are 24 and 21 now, so they're on their own way doing their own things, but they seem to come home and get fed and drink with mom and dad now, and we're having a ton of fun.
Got to be killing you, Maisie, not being traveling all over the country.
You know what? I've really enjoyed it, Robbie. For me, I love moving. There's no doubt about it. I love being busy, but the last few months. I don't miss any of it, to be honest. It's been a ton of fun just staying in one place.
Boys, what was your reaction to the Royal reveal as the Sabres return to the Royal Blue this week?
I love it. I think the Royal Blue Duffer is and should never have been changed. However, obviously for the last 20 years, there's been different jerseys. This color, the reveal, I'm sure we all feel the same way. It's fantastic.
Daren, you got the two jerseys hanging in the back there, but as a goalie, if your team or if you change team or your team change colors, how excited were you to get new equipment and maybe match the new color and the mask and all of that? How would you feel if you had something new to design?
I never got that chance with the Sabres. Nothing changed, I don't think, till '96. So I was had the pleasure of playing with the blue and white. I didn't like giving up my goalie equipment too much, so I tried to make it last as long as it could. Once I got used to something, it was that was my equipment that I would like and keep. And as you see in some of my hockey cards, that it was strung together with whatever I could to keep it going.
Hey, Daren, you did switch numbers, though, didn't you, from 35 to 31? What prompted that?
As a rookie, I didn't have a choice on what I was getting. Rip is going, here you get. This is what you get, kid. So I came in there at 35, and I was just happy to be in the show with any number. It didn't matter to me. I didn't have any of those numbers growing up. So a number to me didn't matter until I got to Tampa. Then it mattered.
Kind of sounds like Jay in that famous 38 you wore.
Well, I almost wore a 31 or 35. Yeah, Rip threw me 38. I was lucky. Yeah, I played my first game in the odd towards the end of the final season there. And, same thing when I came up. I wasn't going to even suggest the number. I just came in, and it was 38, and I wore it. And then the following year, I wore 2 in junior, and clearly that was worn by a well-known guy in Buffalo for a lot of years, and I wasn't getting 2. So I said, well, give me 12. I know you're not wearing 12. What about 22? Well, Wayne Primo's got that if he comes up next year. So I asked, what about 7? I like 7. So I tried a lot of different numbers that just weren't playing. And, being young and naive to the full history of the team. So I said, you know what? I like 7. I like 4. It's either going to be 47 or 74. And I went with 74.
And you were the first one to ever wear 74. And only recently, most recently, has somebody wore it again. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, Rasmus Asplund. Yeah. And he better start blocking more shots if he's going to wear that number. I tell you that.
Hey, JP, you had 17. What was your deal with that?
It's the same. When I got there, I went to Rochester to finish the season on that trade with Doug Gilmour. And when I came to camp, right away, Rip, I came in, he's like, there's your number, kid. And like I said, I was not there to pick any numbers. But that was the number I had in Chicago. So maybe that's why the transition was a little bit easier for me. But I didn't really pick that number in Chicago to start with. But that number has been good for me. So I kept that number. And when I get to Nashville, I went with 71 because 17 was taken. But that's pretty much how it started as well. When I started it, there's no way I could have picked a number. Especially when I asked in Chicago, they started laughing at me because in junior I had 96. So when I went to with the Blackhawks history and everything like that, they said only Gilmour was allowed to have a high number with 93, and they didn't want to give me 96, so they gave me 17. And a funny story is midway to the season, we made a trade for Wendell Clark when I was in Chicago, and I got to the rink, and like I said, I don't have a jersey in my stall. I'm like, oh man, I'm not playing tonight. It's okay. The trainer comes back and he gave me 12 Dumont. I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, Clark just took your 17. I was like, oh, okay. I get it. I understand. I'm definitely not going to fight him for it, but it was funny. They didn't even ask, right? They just gave it to him right away. So it was awesome.
You didn't even get a watch or anything out of that deal?
No compensation.
No, none when you only have 20 games under your belt.
Well, JP, you're the only one that didn't play in the blue and gold out of this group. You had the red, white, and silver and black. When you played,
I played one game. Sorry, remember we had a game.
Oh yeah, you're right. We played the one time. So, but did you Did you always hope that maybe they were going to change the colors and go back to the original when you were here?
I know, like, it was a lot of talks, right, with the fans, you know what I mean? Like, in the tradition in Buffalo, like, you know, it was always the blue and gold, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like I said, for me, I never had to play with those colors. Like, you know, I really enjoyed the red. I know a lot of people didn't, but, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was kind of cool and special. There was a lot of people buying the red jersey, so that was fun to watch that, you know what I mean? But I know the history, you know, of Buffalo, and, you know, those jerseys are great. They look great right now, that's for sure, you know what I mean? But, you know, looking in the stand and you see the French Connection and the jerseys, like, in the rafters and the colors. So, like, you know, I mean, I think it's the good thing to call back to those colors, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, you know, you're never going to make all those fans happy with, like, you know, like every year, every 2 or 4 years changing jerseys. But, you know, those looks really nice right now.
Guys have worn different jerseys in the NHL, not just a Sabres jersey. Is there a jersey that now you're done playing, you can say, hey, it was great to wear the Sabres jersey. There's maybe one team jersey I always dreamed maybe one day of putting it on and just feeling that logo on my chest too. It's just maybe something that stood out. Obviously, that Sabres logo stands out, Brad, when it's on you right now. It looks amazing. Is there another one out there too that you thought, man, you know what, if I had one more shot, I'd want to put that one on?
And if you say Toronto, I'm going to track you down and I'm going to beat you right now.
And I'll be right behind you.
Okay.
You already had it on.
I had a chance. I wore the Toronto jersey, but Rob and I, a lot of us on this call grew up in Southern Ontario, not far from Buffalo. And I'm not just saying this. I think the Sabre jersey, the one I'm wearing right now, but like the royal blue it's iconic. It's one of my favorite jerseys, you know, no doubt. I think if there was a jersey, I love the original 6 stuff. So excluding Toronto, obviously, because I don't want to get beaten up by Rob. A lot of the original 6 teams haven't changed their color, you know, patterns, the palette. They've lasted, you know, for a long time. The Boston Bruins, I know the old Adams division. We played, you know, some epic series against Boston. I grew up a Bruins fan because I wasn't allowed to be a Montreal, Toronto, or Buffalo fan. My mom was a Sabre fan, and I had to pick my own team. So when I was drafted to Buffalo, I got my mom's favorite jersey, my mom's favorite team, and of course, quickly it became mine. So I'm not just saying it. I think this jersey or the new colors back to the royal blue, my favorite in the league.
Brad, you switched your number 2. What was the reason behind that?
Well, I took 27. Matter of fact, Jay was he wore 38. On my draft day, they gave me the number 38 jersey. So my first hockey card had number 38, but never wore that. But I wore 27 after Larry Playfair, who we all love. Wore that for a few years, but then Dale Howard-Chuck was he was my mentor, if you will. As for you too, Rob, I'm sure Ducky, we all loved him. He wore number 10, and that was my number before I made it to the NHL. So when Dale signed with the St. Louis Blues in the summertime, I think the first phone call I made was to Ripper and asked if I could have number 10. So I kind of think back, though, that I wish I never changed from one number to the other. But number 10 is my favorite number. It still is. And I'm glad I was able to wear that number after Dale Howard-Chuck. And by the way, God bless Ducky, guys. I've talked to his family often here in the last month. He's in the fight for his life right now, and we all loved him. I certainly did, and I just wish the best for Dale and of course the Howard-Chuck family.
Well said as always, Brad. That big heart underneath that Sabres logo. JP, you mentioned when you think of the blue and gold, the French Connection. Daren, was there anyone that comes to mind in Sabres history since you were a part of it that you also think of when you think of blue and gold?
Just growing up as a kid, obviously the French Connection was very famous. Tim Horton back in the 70s and 60s, growing up. I grew up as a Canadian fan, so that didn't last long once I turned pro. But growing up in Northern Ontario, you know, you pick Toronto, probably Buffalo or Montreal, and Montreal with Ken Dryden was the guy I, you know, followed growing up as a kid and wanted to be like and all that fun stuff. So Ken Dryden came out of Cornell, so that was a big thing for me back then.
Playing in the Montreal Forum against the Montreal Canadiens, I put the dark blue, the royal blue jersey on. It was the away jersey at the time. And I'm like, man, I'm in the Montreal Forum where I grew up a few hours away. And I still remember that feeling. What was it like for you? Was there a moment like this where you can close your eyes and go back to and feel it in that moment?
Yeah, I think, I grew up in Kingston, Ontario, and being so close to Toronto, watching Toronto great games growing up with my family, with my dad, playing there, not just for my first year or first game, right through to the end of my career, playing in Toronto just felt different because it kind of, it brought you back to your childhood. When you go out there against the Leafs, you just kind of feel like you're there. There was one moment, I'm not just tooting his horn because he's on this call right now. There was one moment that really stood out, and it was when I played my first game in the Odd, and walking out of the Odd to where my parents parked the car. I walked by Maisie, and he played for Niagara Falls Thunder before I did, so I knew of him from that, and obviously watching, Daren play, Rayzor, Maisie, all of them playing before me. I was walking out of the Odd, and Maisie stopped my whole family, kind of put his hand out. You guys all know how he is, and got talking. And he said, you know what? He grabbed my hand, squeezed it really hard, and he looked me in the eyes. He goes, you know what, kid? I envy what you have to look forward to. And it was that was kind of a moment that was really neat for me because it was Brad May, and I just came from Niagara Falls where I finished our playoffs and got that one call-up game. So that was a pretty neat kind of moment for me in time that I'll never forget, obviously, because we're talking about it here for more.
Rayzor, how come you can't be that nice like Brad?
Wait,
Rayzor. As my father told me, Jay's referring to his father. My father told me when I left home 2 things. He says, surround yourself with good people and never let anybody know what you're really all about. And I've always just tried to live by that.
Hey, you're a big teddy bear. You're a nice guy, big teddy bear. That's really what you're trying to hide.
Let me go back. Let me go back to that first game when Maisie said that. So that first game, and mind you, I'm just coming from junior, so I don't have a cent to my name. We had our pregame skate, and I left my second stick on the bench. Right, I didn't think of because you had to kind of go from the bench over to the room. I left my stick on the bench, and I get in the room. I'm taking my gear off, and Rayzor goes, "Hey kid, you owe me $100. You left your stick on the bench." I'm like, all right. And then after the game comes up and he goes, not a good game, not anything. I had an assist in the game. I felt great. He goes, hey, kid, you owe me another $100 for your first game. Oh, another 100 for your first point.
The fine fund, guys. I was in charge of the fine fund.
$300.
You guys had all that free beverages from the fine fund.
So yeah, it was like walk out of the room and then I run into Maisie. So, but you know what? No,
but Jay, you never forgot a stick again on the bench.
No, never again. Never again.
And I guarantee you've done that to somebody else along the way as well.
I'm that kind of guy, Rob. I'm not that kind of guy.
We didn't have to. We had Marty when we played cards to get our money.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That was too easy. And you saw it in the little scary good Beyond Blue and Gold that we did. I think I owe you guys all a little bit of money from that day. So I'll Venmo you. The check's in the mail, JP. Don't worry. Jay, I think it was a little less to you. So
you guys can ask Daren. Back then, Daren, there was rules and guys stressed stuff and they expected to follow them.
Oh yeah, you were really hard on people too. You know, there was no letting up. You made a mistake, Rayzor was right there. He was on top of it. You know,
I had nothing.
We always had a nice party with all that money that Rayzor would collect.
Just accountability. I love it.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories. I'm pretty sure he didn't find me, but you know, he probably remembered that he did.
It's become clear how Rayzor was able to then, gather up so much property here in Western New York and get into the restaurant business too. So, I mean, you can look at it this way. At least he's invested back in the community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys are more than welcome. If you ever need a spot to stay, I got one for
you. Small charge.
Guys, just great to go down memory lane at a time when we're bringing Royal back to life here. And the names that you all have brought over the years in this organization are such, truly a big part of the fabric that is the Buffalo Sabres. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Duffer.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
To conclude Return to Royal Week, we are giving away a Royal Blue jersey to one lucky viewer today. You can enter to win a Royal Blue jersey at sabres.com/Royal Round. We have had some great segments today, and not to be outdone by the power of Royal, but we are still embracing the Gold Blazers from the 50th anniversary season, but not for much longer as they are up for auction. Rayzor, one reason why someone should bid on your Gold Blazer.
Well, I'm going to give you two, because after doing this in my attic right now, how hot it is, I'm leaving plenty of DNA inside this jacket. And also inside the pocket, whoever buys it, I'm going to put something special in one of the pockets of the jacket, so it'll be a surprise for them when they get it.
Very cool. Dan?
Well, I've chosen actually to go a team route here. I'm going to have this, which never did fit me, as Rayzor knows, because he held it together when we took our photo in the hallway behind. We'll go to somebody, and we're going to have the entire play-by-play crew autograph this one, and the money go into the SPCA and help the animals. They, too, have had a tough time during this whole COVID, getting some money raised so they can make sure these animals who can't speak for themselves find a good, loving home. So those would be the reasons to make sure you take this one home.
Yeah, the old saying was,
it smells good. It smells good already.
I've heard that. The old saying is, if it doesn't fit, you must auction it, right?
And, it's not game used, though,
exactly,
Dan. Yeah. Not like this one.
And Marty, what's your 44 regular? Why is it in need of a good home?
Well, exactly. Because of that, all of our jackets are going to great charities, so that is fantastic. And you can follow us on social media to know who's donating to what. But to be honest with you, like, mine's a 44 regular. It's a common size. You get to wear it out. You get to go to dinner and maybe put it on and say, this was Marty Biron's jacket. And it's going to actually fit. So I think that's the reason why you should bid on mine. It's not just to go in your man cave or in your basement or in your special room. It is actually to be worn out at dinner. So you get to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for many to fit into mine. It's a 38 regular. So let's be honest. Maybe
it's
some
a 48 regular.
Good for you.
42.
So people know, so the big husky guys will vote our bid.
That's right. But while these are available at sabres.com/auctions, they are merely a little bit of what you can find, including game-worn 50th anniversary jerseys and Sabres equipment from this past season. So again, sabres.com/auctions. What a return to Royal it's been, thanks to our happy hour sponsor, New Amsterdam Vodka and Pink Whitney, and of course, our terrific community partner in Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center for our Return to Royal Week. Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you soon.